tried baking 7 different dishes and decided to share them with you in this video. Hi everyone and welcome to Sugar Spice Nice. My name is Shweta and in this video I'm sharing with you 7 different dishes that I recently tried baking at home. These are a mix of snacks and desserts, and there's even one healthy dessert. So without further ado, let's just straight jump into the first recipe. I love potatoes, you love potatoes, we all love potatoes. There are so many different potato recipes that I love, be it fries or mashed potato, but the thing that I've tried recently and keep coming back to are these baby potatoes. If you can't find baby potatoes, then you can try them with regular ones, but chop them up small. I'm using baby potatoes and cutting them into halves, and once that's done, I'm putting them in a pressure cooker for about 2 whistles. They need to be almost cooked. Not fully cooked, but just about cooked. While that happens, I peel garlic and I'm using my trusty garlic press here as well. Then I take a generous amount of pizza seasoning mix. You can use any herbs of your choice, and if you want to keep it simple, then just use salt and pepper. Then I'm taking olive oil, and in case you prefer regular oil, then go ahead with that. Now the potatoes are cooked, so I'm draining them and rinsing the cooker and adding them in, and then topping them with the garlic oil that we made. Giving them a gentle stir to ensure the oil and herbs have coated the potatoes roughly, and then we line them on a baking dish or tray. Keep them facing down and let's bake them at about 180 degrees for 30 to 40 minutes or until they are golden and the outer skin is crinkly. You can even remove the skin, but I always like it because it adds fiber. This is how they look when done, and this is optional, but you can top them with some Parmesan cheese for added flavor. So these are baked potatoes. Have them just by themselves or with a bit of mayo or ketchup, and you too will want to make them more and more often. One thing I've never tried baking is a red velvet cake. I haven't ever worked with baking color, so I was a bit apprehensive. To get over this, I actually attended a red velvet cake masterclass on the Pankhuri app. The trainer Vidhi Kamra gave a step-by-step procedure and made me more confident to try baking this at home. I have to say that finding a platform just to master this recipe is such a cool concept. On the Pankhuri Masterclass website and app, you can learn baking, cooking, soap making, makeup, and so much more related to lifestyle. You can see the different classes that they have here, and the best part is courses start as low as ₹11. That's how much the red velvet cake masterclass cost me. And I also got a certificate after completion, and hopefully this cake is also proof that I did learn a little something. I'm going to leave details about the Pankhuri app and this red velvet cake masterclass in the description box below. The app is available for both iPhone and Android, and currently they have an offer for a free nail art masterclass. So if you are interested, then definitely check a link to that as well. Now let me show you how I made these red velvet cupcakes. Here I have about a cup of milk and I'm adding a bit of lime juice to it so that we get it to curdle. Using this gives a nice light fluffy texture to an eggless cake. Then in a big bowl, I'm adding about 3/4 cup powdered sugar and 1/4 cup oil and whisking them together. I'm also adding vanilla extract here and mixing it in, and then about 1/4 cup of dahi or yogurt and whisking them until it's all smooth like so. Then I'm adding red food color. This is gel color. You can use gel or liquid or even some natural organic color, and the color needs to be mixed in really well with the mixture. Then I'm adding a cup of maida and 1/4 cup cocoa powder. This is unsweetened, and also half a spoon of baking soda. Combine these well and don't overmix, otherwise the cake becomes too dense. And then these go in the cupcake liners that I have here. Now these go in the oven for about 30 minutes on 200 degrees, and here you can see that they are absolutely done. And now I'm making a very simple cream cheese frosting that I learnt earlier. I have butter here, regular salted butter, and I'm adding a whole spoon of cream cheese to it and powdered sugar and vanilla extract. and I'm just whisking these together. I did this for about 10 minutes and I got a pretty decent texture, and I don't have an icing cone, so I just used a knife to spread it on. I actually just wanted a little bit of a feel of icing because that's how I enjoy a red velvet cupcake. The layer isn't perfect, but at least I got that delicious icing flavor while enjoying the cake. Next we have these maize and wheat chips. They're pretty similar to nachos, and I also have a bit of a bonus here, which is this dip. So I begin with some hot water, and to that I'm adding 2 cups of maize flour or makke ka atta and half a cup of wheat flour. Then I'm adding half a spoon of baking soda and 3/4 of a spoon of baking powder. I'm also adding a bit of lime juice, salt and red chili powder. Then I'm putting this in my bread making machine. This is just to knead the dough, and it'll knead it in about 10 minutes. So here the dough is done, and now I'm rolling it out. This flour is quite delicate even after adding wheat to it, so I use a bit of flour while rolling it out. Roll it and shape it in triangles and also poke some holes in, otherwise they might puff up. And then I line them in a parchment paper in a baking tray and bake them on 200 degrees for about 20 minutes. This is what they look like when done. You have to roll them out as thin as possible. This is what I could manage, and I also baked a batch with a bit of oil on top and some sea salt, pepper and garlic powder on top. And if you feel like they're not becoming crisp enough, then just flip and bake them for another 10 minutes. If you are particular about perfect triangles, then either use a shape mold or do this. Trim off the uneven edges and bake them. Now here I'm making the quickest dip for them that does taste something in between guacamole and salsa. So I have tomatoes, onions, capsicum and coriander all chopped, and I'm adding these to a blender. I'm also adding a pinch of salt, sugar, cumin powder and lime. And I'm making sure that there are no chunks left. So this is what it looks like. If you want more tangy and a red color, then add more tomatoes and less capsicum and coriander, and that pretty much tastes similar to restaurant style salsa. I personally really enjoy the flavor of capsicum, so I've added plenty. So here I have baked chips and a dip. This is perfect for those evenings when you crave something and are about to reach for some packaged food. You can make these with different flour options as well, like nachni, or even with just plain maize flour or just plain whole wheat flour, however you like. And I was pretty happy with how they turned out, nice and crunchy, and satiated my longing for something tasty. Next we have this vanilla sponge cake with chocolate chunks. You can even replace the chocolate chunks with almonds or walnuts or anything else to suit your preference. For this, I take about a cup of yogurt and add half a spoon of baking soda to it and let it sit for a few minutes. Then in another bowl, I took about 2 2/3 cups of maida or all-purpose flour and added a teaspoon of baking powder and mixed them both together. Then I took a big bowl and added 2/3 cups of sugar. You can even use jaggery or date powder. And I added about half a cup of oil. This is just sunflower oil. I whisked them in, then I added a few drops of vanilla extract and mixed that in as well. To this I added the yogurt and soda mixture and mixed them until it was all smooth, and then I added the flour and baking powder and very gently mixed it until it all came together and there were no flour pockets. Now I grease a loaf tin and add the batter in. You can even make cupcakes or a proper round cake from this. I smoothened out the top as much as I could, and then I just added chunks of chocolate. This is dark chocolate, and I wanted them on the top, more like a topping and not so much inside the cake. If you like, you can even add them in the batter itself so that they are mixed in. This gets baked on about 200 degrees for 30 to 40 minutes, and that is all. The cake is ready. The chocolate chunks kind of melted a little bit, and you just have to have a warm slice of this as soon as it's out of the oven. You can see the texture of the sponge. It is so good. It actually turned out really soft, and the chocolate chunks gave it a very nice feel. You can even skip them and just make the classic vanilla sponge cake and you won't be disappointed. Now this one is a two-way recipe. Either enjoy these veggies by themselves or mix them up with rice or a pasta like this to make it a whole meal. So here I'm using some veggies that I have lying. I have chopped up carrots, capsicum, tomatoes, zucchini, baby corn and onions. You can use even broccoli, cauliflower, bell peppers, peas, French beans. The list is endless. So I line them up in a baking tray, and just seeing these many colors in a single meal is so happiness inducing. High five in the comments if you also feel the same way. I drizzle them with olive oil and put them in the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes on 180 degrees. You can adjust the time you need depending on your preference and oven features. Now these can be enjoyed by themselves just with a little bit of salt, pepper and lime and a few dry herbs, or you can add them to a bowl, top them with pasta or rice, add a pinch of sugar, some Italian seasoning, feta cheese, Tabasco and stir and enjoy. You can even mix these with noodles or enjoy them inside a roti like a wrap. The possibilities are endless with this one. It's a fiber-rich meal with these many different vegetables being a part of it. Now this is one of those trending TikTok recipes that was everywhere a while back. Baked oatmeal cake, and I didn't think I'd like it, but here we are. It turned out awesome, by the way. So in a blender, I'm taking about 2 cups of milk, 2 cups of oats and a tablespoon of cocoa powder. I'm also adding a pinch of salt and sugar and also vanilla extract along with a spoon of baking powder. Then I'm blending this mix together and adding 2 more cups of oats. I used 4 cups in total, and blending everything until smooth. I used the Desano oats pack and I added sugar, but you can replace it with jaggery or date syrup if you're looking to cut down on sugar. Now I'm adding some dried fruit. You can skip this or replace it with chocolate chips or even some nuts. Mixing them in and then adding half a spoon of baking soda, and now this is ready to get baked. So I'm greasing a round tin here and adding the batter in, and I baked it at 180 degrees for 40 minutes, and then this is the baked oats cake. It is a cake because it does taste like one, and yes, you can figure out that this is made from oats because they do have a slight peculiar taste, but it's a great way to indulge in oats, I feel. I've been eating it for breakfast all week and it's a very satisfying one at that. Definitely give this a go for a healthier indulgence. Now here is something that works for breakfast, snack, a meal, anything. A potato toasty. There are many different ways of making this, so here is how I like it. I take some boiled potatoes, onions, capsicum and coriander. Normally I would have added green chili as well, but I'm out of it, so we'll just skip it. Mashing the potatoes roughly in a bowl and adding all the other veggies in, and I'm just mixing them together. Then I'm adding salt, red chili powder, cumin powder, coriander powder, pepper and chaat masala, and mixing them all really well until the mixture looks like this. Then I'm taking bread and buttering it both sides and spreading the mix down on it, and be generous while doing this because this has all of the taste. Then I'm adding some sesame seeds. These are not roasted, they're just normal plain sesame seeds, and I'm pressing them down on the stuffing and ensuring that they cover the surface of the bread. I love these, but if you don't, then you can skip them altogether or reduce the quantity or even replace them with something else like cheese or paneer or some other seeds maybe. I put them in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes on 180 degrees. Basically, they need to be nice and crisp, and you can see that bottom. It is so amazingly brown and crunchy. These can be enjoyed as you like with different veggies, with cheese or paneer. Just make them as per your liking. I always get questions on the oven I use, so I thought I'll let you know. This is the Pigeon OTG 16 liters, and I've been using it for over a year now, and it works pretty well for home baking. I've made cakes, bread, pav, pizza base, so many different things in it, and it's been going strong. It is pretty lightweight as well. I just thought I'll share this with you in case you are wanting to know my experience of the oven, and if you want to know more about it, then links will be in the description box. So I hope you enjoyed all of these 7 different dishes that I shared with you in this video. Let me know if you want more such videos, and if you have any specific video requests, then make sure you leave that in the comments below, and I'll try my level best to film those for you. And share this video with all of your friends and family who are kind of new to baking, and let them know that all of these dishes are beginner friendly and they can definitely try it without any fear at home. And that is really it from me. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more. And yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye.